Good morning, students. So, in our last class, we studied about the cell organelles, that is endomembrane system, and in that we studied about the endoplasmic reticulum, the Golgi complex, vacuoles and lysosomes. And today, in this video, we will study about the mitochondria and other cell organelles. So, this mitochondria, it was first observed by Kolliker. Kolliker is a scientist who first observed the mitochondria in 1880, and the name mitochondria was given by Benda in 1897. So these mitochondria, they are the cell organelles which are found in the aerobic eukaryotes. So mitochondria are found in aerobic eukaryotes, and these mitochondria, they participates in oxidative phosphorylation and in Krebs cycle during oxidative breakdown of food or during aerobic respiration. Further, these mitochondria, they are known as powerhouse of the cell. So these are the powerhouse of the cell because these mitochondria, they are the major center for the release of energy in the form of ATP during aerobic respiration. Now, these mitochondria, they are usually absent. They are absent in prokaryotes. And in anaerobic eukaryotes. So they are absent in prokaryotes and anaerobic eukaryotes. Further, the number of mitochondria, we are talking about the number of mitochondria. The number of mitochondria, it may vary from 1 to several in a cell depending upon the activity of that cell. Further, the position of a mitochondria in a cell, also varies on the basis of the activity of a cell. And if we talk about the size of mitochondria, so these mitochondria, they are usually cylindrical in shape. They are cylindrical or oval in shape, and these mitochondria, they are about 1 to 4.1 micrometer in length and 0.2 to 1 micrometer in diameter. So the size of mitochondria, it is 1 to 4.1 micrometer in length and 0.2 to 1 micrometer in diameter. Further, they are usually cylindrical in shape. Now we will discuss the structure of mitochondria. So usually this mitochondria, it is a double membrane bounded structure. That is the outer membrane of mitochondria, which is regular membrane, and the inner membrane of mitochondria, it is irregular and it is present in the form of finger-like projections in the matrix of mitochondria. And these finger-like projections of inner membrane of mitochondria, they are known as cristae. Further, these two membranes of mitochondria, they results in the formation of two chambers. That is the outer chamber present between the two mitochondrial envelopes or membrane, and the inner chamber or the matrix of mitochondria, that is bounded by the inner membrane of a mitochondria. This mitochondria, it is a semi-autonomous cell organelle, so it contains its own circular DNA. It contains its own RNA, it contains the ribosomes, and it contains some another structures on the which are present on these finger-like projections, and these structures are known as the oxysomes. These oxysomes, they act as an ATPase enzyme, and these are the center for the formation of ATP inside the mitochondria. Now, if we talk about the chemical composition of a mitochondria, chemical composition of mitochondria. So these mitochondria, they contains near about, these mitochondria, they contains near about 60 to 70% of proteins. 60 to 70% of proteins. They contains 25 to 35% of lipids. They contains 5 to 7% of DNA, and they also contains minerals in small traces, that means in very small amount. Now come to the structure of this mitochondria. So this mitochondria, as I have already told, it is bounded by a double membrane system, that is a outer membrane and a inner membrane, and the thickness of these two membranes, that is outer membrane and inner membrane, it is near about 60 to 70 angstrom. So thickness of both membranes, that is outer and inner membrane, is 60 to 70 angstrom, and these two membranes encloses two chambers, that is the outer chamber, this is, and the inner chamber, this portion. Further, this outer membrane of mitochondria, it is smooth and it is regular. Further, this outer membrane, it is permeable to a number of metabolites, as it contains the protein channels in it in the form of porins. And the inner membrane of mitochondria, that is this inner membrane of mitochondria, it is irregular, as it is present in the matrix, or it is found projected in the matrix in the form of finger-like projections, which are known as cristae. And this inner membrane of mitochondria, it is selectively permeable for few metabolites. Now further, this inner membrane of mitochondria, it contains higher protein content in comparison to the outer mitochondrial membrane, and it is present in the form of cristae, and these cristae, these are responsible for increasing the surface area of mitochondria for mitochondrial physiological activities. Further, these cristae are present some tiny tennis racket like structures, which are known as either elementary particles. Here it is, these are the particles which are known as elementary particles. They are also known as F0, F1 particles, or they are also known as oxysomes, and they are the center for the formation of ATP. Now, if we talk about the outer chamber of this mitochondria, that is present between two membranes. So mitochondria have two chambers, an outer chamber and inner chamber. The outer chamber is present between the two mitochondrial membranes, and it is known as pre-mitochondrial space. The outer chamber is also known as pre-mitochondrial space, and this outer chamber, it is near about 60 to 100 angstrom wide, and it also extends in the spaces present in the cristae. So this outer chamber extends up to the spaces present in cristae. Further, this outer chamber, it contains a fluid. It contains a fluid inside it that contains some enzymes. Now come to the inner chamber of mitochondria. So this inner chamber of mitochondria, it forms the core of mitochondria. It forms the center of mitochondria. It forms the core of mitochondria, and it contains a semi-fluid matrix. And this semi-fluid matrix of mitochondria, it contains the proteins, ribosomes, the DNA, the RNA, and the enzymes for tricyclic carboxylic acid cycle, or tricarboxylic acid cycle, or TCA cycle, and Krebs cycle. Further, this inner chamber of mitochondria, it also contains some crystals of calcium, phosphate, and magnesium. Now, we will discuss the functions of this mitochondria. So, this mitochondria, it acts as a site for the oxidation of food. So, it is the site for oxidative breakdown of food. Further, it is also the site for the formation of ATP. So the energy in the form of ATP, it is produced inside mitochondria. Further, this mitochondria it also provides certain intermediates for the synthesis of certain compounds such as chlorophyll, cytochromes, pyrimidines and steroids. Now, the matrix of mitochondria, it contains certain enzymes which are required for the synthesis of fatty acids. So, matrix of mitochondria, it contains the enzymes which are required for the synthesis of fatty acids. These mitochondria, they also acts as a site for the synthesis of amino acids, and these mitochondria, they also acts as storage and release organ for the calcium. Now we will discuss the another cell organelle, that is plastids. These plastids are discovered by Ernest Haeckel in 1866, and these plastids are semi-autonomous cell organelles. Plastids are semi-autonomous cell organelles as they contains their own DNA, and these plastids, they are further bounded by a double membrane system. Usually these plastids, they are present in plant cells and they are also found in certain protists. Now these plastids, they develop from some colorless precursors called protoplastids, and usually these plastids found in plants, they are of three different types, that is leucoplast, chromoplast and chloroplast. So we will discuss these three types of plastids now. These leucoplasts, they are usually white in color or they are colorless plastids. They are usually found near to nucleus in non-green cells. Further, they do not contain the grana and the photosynthetic pigment. So photosynthetic pigment are absent in the leucoplast. And these leucoplasts, they are oval, they may be oval shaped, they may be cylindrical shaped, or they may be filamentous in shape. Further, these leucoplasts, they are also three different types, that is the amyloplast. These amyloplasts are the starch containing plastids. The second type of leucoplast is elenoplast. These elenoplasts are colorless plastids that are responsible for storing the fats. The third type of plastids are alluroplast, and these alluroplast, they are also known as proteoplast. Why they are known as proteoplast? Because they are the protein containing plastids. So the protein containing plastids or protein containing leucoplast are known as proteoplast or alluroplast. The second type of plastids are chromoplast. These chromoplasts, they are usually in yellow color or reddish in color, and they are yellow or reddish in color due to presence of a pigment that is known as carotenoids. So due to presence of carotenoids, these chromoplasts are reddish or yellow in color, and usually these carotenoids, it is the name carotenoid, it is came from the carrot, because the carrot contains the carotenoids, and due to these carotenoids, the color of carrot is either yellowish or reddish. Now further, these chromoplasts, they are formed either from leucoplast or they are formed from chloroplast. But these chromoplasts, they do not contain chlorophyll, so they do not participate in the photosynthesis process. The third type of plastids are chloroplast, and these are the most important plastids. Usually these chloroplasts, they are green in color due to presence of a green pigment that is known as your chlorophyll. And these chloroplasts, they also contains the carotenoids. So they contains two types of light absorbing substances, that is chlorophyll and carotenoids. Both are light absorbing pigments. Now because these chloroplasts, they contains the light absorbing chlorophyll pigment, so these chloroplasts are the site for the photosynthesis, that is they contains photosynthetic pigment, so they acts as a site for the photosynthesis in the leaf cells of the plants. Now come to the number of this chloroplast, because we are going in details about the chloroplast. So these chloroplast, their number depends upon the type of cell, the type of tissue, and the location of these cells or tissue. Usually the cells of colon-chyma tissue, they contains near about 20 to 40 chloroplast per cell. The shape of chloroplast. The chloroplasts are usually, they can be cup shaped, they can be ribbon like, they can be polygonal in shape, they can be stellate in shape, they can be reticular, or they can be lens shaped. So these chloroplasts, they varies greatly on the basis of their shape. If you talk about the size of this chloroplast, so the length of chloroplast is near about 4 to 10 micron meter, and their breadth is near about 2 to 4 micron meter in case of higher plants. And what can be the chemical composition of a chloroplast? So usually a chloroplast contains 50 to 60% of proteins. They contains 25 to 30% of lipids. They contains 5 to 10% of chlorophyll, and they contains 1 to 2% of carotenoids. They contains 0.5% of DNA. They contains 2 to 3% of RNA, and they also contains vitamin K, E, the quinones, magnesium, iron, cobalt, manganese in trace amount or in very less amount. Now come to the structure of chloroplast. So usually this chloroplast consists of three parts, that is envelope, matrix and thylakoids. The chloroplast envelope, it is a double membrane bounded system, and each membrane of chloroplast, it is near about 90 to 100 angstrom in thickness. The two membranes of chloroplast, that is outer membrane and inner membrane, they are separated by a space that is known as intermembrane space of about 100 to 200 angstrom. Further, the outer membrane of chloroplast, it is attached to endoplasmic reticulum in the cytoplasm, and the inner membrane, it is attached to the thylakoids in the matrix of the chloroplast. Now come to the matrix of chloroplast. So the inside part of the fluid material that is present or bounded by the inner membrane of this chloroplast, that is known as matrix. So this matrix, it is the ground substance of a chloroplast, and it is also known as the stroma. So whatever inside present in the chloroplast, it is the stroma or ground substance of a chloroplast or the matrix. Further, this matrix, it is it contains or it is a semi-fluid colloidal substance. So the matrix of chloroplast is semi-fluid colloidal substance, which is made up of near about 50% of proteins, and rest of the 50%, it consists of the RNA, ribosomes and enzymes. So the matrix or the stroma of chloroplast consists of 50% of soluble proteins, and 50% of it consists of the RNA, the ribosomes and enzymes. Now, the matrix of chloroplast or stroma, it contains certain flattened sac-like structures like this. These are the flattened sac-like structures, and each of these flattened sac-like structures, they are known as thylakoids. Now, these thylakoids inside the matrix of a chloroplast, they are stacked on one another, and these stacked thylakoids, they are all together known as the grana. So stacked thylakoids are known as grana, and one grana is attached to another grana through stromal lamellae. So this is the stromal lamellae through which one grana is attached to another grana, and each chloroplast consists of near about 40 to 60 grana. So there are about 40 to 60 grana in each chloroplast, and in each grana there are near about 2 to 100 thylakoids. So each grana consists of 2 to 100 thylakoids, and a chloroplast matrix consists of 40 to 60 grana. Now this matrix of chloroplast, it also consists of its own ribosomes, it consists of its own circular DNA, it contains the RNA. And because chloroplast contains its own DNA, it is also known as the semi-autonomous cell organelle. Further, these thylakoids, these are usually the flattened sac-like structures only, which are present in stacked form on one another, and the space between two membranes of chloroplast, it is known as the intermembrane space, and the matrix that is present inside chloroplast, it is known as the stroma of a chloroplast. Now come to the functions of chloroplast. So these chloroplast, they acts as site for photosynthesis. They act as site for photosynthesis because they contains the chlorophyll and carotenoids. So this chlorophyll and carotenoids, they are present in chloroplast, they are the light absorbing pigments in the chloroplast, and that's why. So these chloroplasts, they act as a site for photosynthesis as they contains the chlorophyll and carotenoids. The second function of these chloroplasts is that these chloroplasts, they are responsible for converting sunlight energy into chemical energy and this chemical energy later on it is utilized for the splitting of H2O molecule into H plus ions and oxygen. So the third function of this chloroplast is that they consumes CO2 and releases O2. So they are responsible for the balancing of CO2 and oxygen in the atmosphere. They consume CO2 during photosynthesis and they are responsible for releasing oxygen which are required by the animals. Now further, these chloroplasts, they also act as storage organs for starch. So this chloroplast, they also acts as storage organ for chloroplast. Now the next function of this chloroplast is that these chloroplasts, they are responsible for the synthesis of fatty acid. So these chloroplasts, they are responsible for synthesis of fatty acids. One more function of this chloroplast is that these chloroplasts, they are responsible for storing lipids. They are responsible for storing lipids, and these chloroplasts, they are responsible for storing lipids, and they stores lipids in the form of plastoglobules. So storing lipids in the form of plastoglobule, globuli. Thank you, students.